let's say even Angelo Matthews comes in, I'm pretty sure he won't be bowling.
Especially at Galle, we got to play 3 spinners.
But I would really look at using Dasun Shanak.
In my opinion, it should be 6.
Maha, I don't agree with you with the fact that we have to have a second seamer.
Hello and welcome to ThePapare.com as we get to another test series, Sri Lanka taking on England next week. We'll just focus on the previous series, South Africa. Sri Lanka lost 2-0. South Africa recorded an easy 10-wicket win in Johannesburg. To discuss everything about the second test and as well as the upcoming test series against England, I've got two experts with me. Russel Arnold and Farveez Maharoof, two former Sri Lankan cricketers. Good to have you both in our show, gentlemen. First of all, Russell, what do you reckon happened in Johannesburg? Not the ideal result for Sri Lanka, but there were good positives coming in from the Wanderers.
There was a few good performances, but going into the test match, we didn't expect much. A lot to do with the injuries and how cricket has been in South Africa and the Wanderers especially, because it is a very fast track. Sri Lanka in the past have hardly scored any runs there. Even better, stronger or legendary players have struggled. So looking at certain passages of play, it was pleasing how Sri Lanka did compete. How Sri Lanka suddenly found themselves, if they could push a bit more, they could put South Africa under pressure. So these are little areas that we take note of. But ideally, it's about being consistent and trying to make these passages longer passages. That's when you can get ahead in Test cricket. But looking at the Wanderers itself, the first innings, again, Sri Lanka wanting to bat first. That's what you do in the Wanderers, though it's a quick pitch. How it pays out is pace and bounce, but it quickens up as the days go on and it becomes harder for batting. That's why Sri Lanka opted to bat first, but the pace and bounce of the South Africans a little too much for the Sri Lankans to handle. But when it came to the bowling, initially with not much of a score on the board, the bowlers tend to try a lot. But the key is to stay patient and nip away. But once South Africa had got in front, that's when the Sri Lankans started settling into a line and length and things started to happen. So these are lessons that you need to learn and learn very, very fast, that even though you're under the pump, it's about going through the basics and staying patient.
We saw Vishwa Fernando being the standard performer with the ball for Sri Lanka. What do you reckon he did well in that series?
I think he bowled to his strength, which is to swing the ball, pitch it up, and swing. I mean, if you look at his strike rate as well as the economy, it's a bit on a higher side, but you expect to you should go a little bit expensive side, mainly because he tries to pitch it up, and sometimes he offers some driving balls, but still, I thought staying fit for a couple of test matches, going through it, and bowling a lot of overs, coming through it fine. I mean, I'm very pleased for Vishwa, as well as the rest of the two fast bowlers also bowled decently, especially Asita Fernando on his debut. The way he started the first spell of 8 overs or something like that. I mean, he was just very good to see, as well as Dushmantha. Very excited to see him back in full form. True that he didn't pick up that much of wickets, but he bowled with consistent pace. So overall, from the pace department, Damith, I'm pretty happy how they performed. But I mean, saying that batting has been a bit of an issue, especially in South Africa. Whenever barring the last series which you won, I think we have already struggled at Centurion and Johannesburg, which will continue. So overall, as you mentioned, there were some positives to be taken. But more, I mean, if you take it overall, I thought it's a bit of a disappointment. Finishing the test match here within 2.5 days.
Russell, we saw Damith Weerasinghe becoming the first Sri Lankan opener to get 100 in South Africa. How pleasing was it to see him batting like that, and how much of a confidence he'll take that into the England series, because he has not been playing a lot of cricket coming into this series.
It was tremendous to see because he played again. There are certain areas that Damith Weerasinghe plays the ball mostly onto the leg side. He doesn't look to go through extra cover a lot, and he works the gaps really well. And for Sri Lanka over the last few years, if Weerasinghe is at the wicket, a lot of problems seem to be sorted because he is that calming influence. So that's why he's so crucial, making runs and staying out there, which allows the other batsmen also to build partnerships. That's what we did see in a trying situation at the Wanderers. They were taking blows. The ball was nipping around. There was uneven bounce. He managed it well. He played each ball on its merits. And that's what Karunaratne is about. So you mentioned he hadn't played for a while and took a few innings to settle in to what he usually does. But I think it was brilliant from him, the way he accumulated his runs. Whenever the loose ball was there, he was putting it away, and very, very pleasing to see. I was very disappointed the way he got out because he had just got to 100 and Sri Lanka were ahead. And suddenly you got the feeling with Dickwell on the other side, another 100 runs, another 75 runs from that partnership would have got South Africa thinking that they have to bat again and as the fourth innings on this pitch. So it was a very crucial time that he played somewhat a loose shot, I'd have to say. Yes, the ball got big on him, but it was a softish dismissal just as he got to his 100. So 150, 160 is ideally what Sri Lanka would have needed to again try to dictate terms in that test match. But yes, confidence would be high. Runs behind you always gives you that good feeling. And for the captain, when he has runs, it's easier to lead the team because you're leading from the front and you're leading with actions.
Maha, now, if you talk about the batting department in Sri Lanka, 3 ducks for Kusal Mendy is very disappointing, but he has been one of the consistent members in the team. He got a good delivery in the first innings and then a good catch in the second innings, but was it purely not having luck on his side, or just what do you think, Maha? What should he do in future to get out of this bad patch? Is he to just play the first few overs more cautiously?
I think it's a bit of bad luck as well as some technical issue as well. I mean, it got to be said, but he's a player that you will also have a lot of confidence in. I mean, his proven record says at 25 he has one of the best records for a Sri Lankan. So I reckon, in my opinion, he should get another go in the in this England series, and especially in Galle home conditions. I'm pretty sure that he'll come good. And also, he's a kind of a player. Once he gets going, he's someone that who dominates the bowling, and we know on his day how destructive he can be. So I reckon, I feel, in my personal opinion, is that he should get one more go, especially the England series. I mean, if he fails that, I think it's time to look into another option. But overall, as you answering your question, Damith, whether he was unlucky, yes, he was, but definitely there were some faults in his technique as well.
You
That
spoke about
happens, Damit.
yes, sir.
Just to add
Yes.
on Kusal Mendes, that certainly does happen. I mean, what happened at the Wanderers, just poking here and there, these type of dismissals do happen. But where I'd like to be critical of him is at the Centurion, because you're going into conditions that you're not used to, and to be airy, flary, and lose your wicket. That you have to look at when you're a top order batsman and everyone's relying on you. Yes, no doubt about the talent and the instinctive play that he does have, but the sport is that when you're in good form, you got to make sure that you don't throw your wicket away, because what happened at the Wanderers will come back and happen to you. You can't help it when those type of dismissals come your way. And I'll also like to add that he's not alone. I got a pair there as well the last time I played at the Wanderers, so he's in good company.
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully he'll come good in the future. And talk about the future, we have another test series coming up, Russell. England in Galle, 2 test matches. What can we look forward to?
Well, a lot to look forward to in the sense that it's good to have Test cricket back here. Yes, we're going to be playing 2 Test matches at Galle, where Sri Lanka normally tend to dominate, but they'll have to dig deeper because they're coming back from South Africa. They've been traveling. They're coming from very different conditions. Yes, you may say it's at home, but you haven't played this type of cricket in a long time. More familiar conditions which you'll be able to adapt and handle better. And the type of game that Sri Lanka have in the subcontinent, they have the players to control it. But you still have to know that you're up against a strong opposition, a tactically strong opposition. We saw that in the last series where Sri Lanka went down 3-0. England are now a different type of team. They are an attacking team who will look for opportunities to always counter attack. So Sri Lanka have to be careful, and they will not be able to play their own game because England's mindset is so different, and they have quality players who will deal these punches at you. So Sri Lanka, yes, you're at home, yes, familiar conditions, but it's not going to be easy, and they'll need all their senior players, the Karunaratnes, Chandimal if he's fit. I think Ambuldenia probably will come back into it. They'll all need to be on top mentally, which is not going to be easy.
And Farveez, we've heard that some of the players have been added, new players. Angelo Matthews is coming back after his injury. Then players like Roshan Silva, Nuan Pradeep, and some youngsters in Ramesh Mendy also been added to the larger training squad. But how do you see them fitting in to the side? And as with the injuries, I hope Suranga Lakmal, Oshad Fernando, Chandimal will be fit in time for the first test on the 14th.
I reckon the backup players, we got some good names coming in, but my only concern is how much cricket they have played. We know for a fact that domestic season is not on, and as far as I know, there was no practice games played. So I reckon they will definitely having a lack of cricket. But saying that with experience coming in, players like Angelo and Roshan Silva, I think definitely it'll be a boost. But it'll be also, especially for Roshan, it won't be that easy to find a place. And also, when you come to fast bowlers, Nuan Pradeep is coming in. I can't remember when he played the last test match last time. So all this stuff, when it comes to the preparation wise, not the ideal, but you're playing against England, as Russell mentioned, is one of the strongest when it comes to tactical side of it. So I'm pretty sure that we got to be very strong in our tactical preparation to counter the Englishmen, and basically play the game, play the brand that we know. Especially in Galle, we have a good record. So if we start well, I think we can be pretty hopeful that our guys will do well.
Russell, a major factor for Sri Lanka is Dhananjay De Silva won't be playing this series, and that doesn't give you another bowling option also. In the top six, so how do you balance out the Sri Lankan team from your point of view? Do you play Dasun Shanaka as a second seamer, or do you leave him out and play three spinners? What do you reckon?
That's a good question, Damith. Just going into the test series, just Farveez mentioned many aspects and drawbacks, but at the end of the day, the way the world is at the moment, right now, it's all about attitude. It's all about not making excuses. This is what it's going to be. So you're just going to have to get on with it. And that's the more you drill that into yourselves and want to be a part of it, I think that's when the players will do well. Balancing the team is going to be hard. Let's say even Angelo Matthews comes in, I'm pretty sure he won't be bowling, so he's not going to give you that luxury of having even a seamer in the top six so that you can bring in a spinner later. But I would really look at using Dasun Shanaka because he'll be adept at running his fingers over the ball and maybe using those cutters later on in the innings. So bring him in, and you do have Hasaranga, and you'll have to use the extra spinners. Dhananjay De Silva not being there is a problem. But Hasaranga maybe not at 8, maybe even look at batting him at 7 to open up the bowling, which might be useful because it's home conditions, and you would expect these players to do better in these conditions, unlike in South Africa.
Parviz, what do you reckon from the bowling department? You need to take 20 wickets to win a test match. So you need to have at least four genuine bowling options with two spinners, two fast bowlers. What do you reckon?
I reckon, especially at Galle, we got to play three spinners, especially with Dhananjay De Silva being not available. He's a huge blow. And for that to count, we need to have an off spinner. So, in my opinion, it should be 6 batsmen with Dikwala batting at 6, Wanindu at 7, Dilruwan at 8, Lasith 9, and the 2 fast bowlers. So, we got to play. I would like to have Dasun Shanaka, but under the conditions, team competition, it will be hard for Dasun to come in. And also, you cannot play Dasun as a second seamer. Especially, we have seen in previous test match, if we play one fast bowler, and if he breaks down, we are lack of fast bowler. So I reckon we need to play 2 genuine fast bowlers. Suranga Lakmal, if he's fit enough, definitely walks into the team. A second seamer could be either Viswa Fernando, Asita Fernando, Dushman Chamira, one of them. And to have the three spinners going, so we will have that combination where we could win matches by bowling the opposition out as well.
Agree with Maha that we need the bowlers to bowl the opposition out. I reckon having a second seamer comes into it only depending on the conditions. But Maha, I don't agree with you with the fact that we have to have a second seamer because we don't trust the fitness of the players. If that way, we're not going to go forward at all. So we got to go in with the attitude that the players will be doing their job and that they will stay fit. I would pick the team on that lines, and giving a second thought. Dasun Shanaka at 7, Hasaranga at 8 still allows you to play one more seamer and two other spinners if you really do want to have that attacking option. And thinking of Galle, I'd reckon that there'll be more spinning options available. And to balance the team, especially because we don't have the batsman who will bowl up there, that's the way to go, unless the conditions, the pitch itself dictates that that extra seamer needs to be in the team.
Yeah, just to add on that, I mean, especially in Galle, with reverse swing coming in place, I mean, that's how the most of the fast bowlers takes wicket there. And also in case, I mean, we talk about the new normal and we cannot have, having doubts about players getting injured. I mean, I agree definitely there. But all I'm saying is we have had experience where we play one fast bowler, genuine fast bowler, and they have broken down, and we have played the test match with Damith Weerasinghe bowling the new ball. I don't think we should take that risk. And also, I mean, Dasun Chanak is definitely unlucky. I mean, he bowled decently well, but in Galle conditions, played there before, definitely a reverse swing is a huge factor there. And also, when it comes to two fast bowlers, if it's a left arm quick, if you play Viswa Fernando, you could create that angle with so many right-handers in the England team. You can create the angle where he could bowl one side of the wicket, as well as Suranga Lakmal. If he comes in, we know that what he can do. So, taking into all those considerations, I think I still will stick to having two definite genuine fast bowlers. Dasun Sanak again very unlucky, but the team has to be picked under the merit of the conditions. So I reckon we should go in that way.
It's going to be a very interesting couple of days coming up, leading to the first test. But let's talk about the batting unit. Russell, Matthews coming in. If Chandimal is fit, he's also being amongst the rungs. Then Siri did well, I think, in patches in that game. Kusal Pereira as an opener, or you bring back Oshad if he's fit. A lot of problems for the captain, coach, and the selector.
Problems, yes, but normally you'd say that when you have selection issues and plenty of players putting their hands up, that it's a good headache to have. But I'm not sure this is a good headache because you're trying to mix and match at this stage. You're trying to figure out who's fit for you. You're trying to figure out who's going to fit in where, who's not going to, because those who are fit haven't given you the confidence with runs behind them. So with Kusal Mendis not having runs, that's the core of your batting. And Angelo Matthews also not playing, coming back from injury. It is a bit of a mix and match situation. But Chandimal and Matthews, if they're fit, I would bring them into the team. And those two miss out, of course. Minod Bhanuka didn't show anything. Unfortunately, just the one game, but you can't continue with him just for the simple reason that the likes of Chandimal and Matthews will be fit again. So you have to go there. And the other batsman to miss out for me would be Thirimana.
Maha, what do you reckon will be the top six for Sri Lanka?
Yeah, I agree there with Russell there. For top three with Kusal Pereira, Dimut, Kusal Mendis, and we got Chandi and 5. I mean, Angelo Matthews, you got to bring him in. I mean, especially under the circumstances, experience does matter. So I reckon he will bring that calming influence in the middle order. And to bat Dikwal at 6 and the 5 bowlers which we spoke about. Only option would be when it comes to the bowlers to have Viswa Fernando, Asita Fernando, and Dushman Chamira. So one of them has to be picked. In my opinion, Viswa Fernando should play.
Let's see a lot of things to ponder in the few days, and we'll talk about the England team. Most of the fans who are watching Papare might not know what will be the composition for England. They don't have Ben Stokes, they don't have Rory Burns at the top of the order, and then they don't have Jofra Archer for this series. But the likes of Johnny Bairstow, James Anderson is there, Sam Curran. Russell, how do you assess this England side?
It's still a very strong side. When it comes to the batting, there is a bit of experience, and I think there's quality as well. The openers, they tend to wear the opposition down. That's what they usually do for the likes of Root and the Butlers, Bairstows, who have now played a lot of cricket in this part of the world, and they know how to handle these conditions. Therefore, they will be dangerous. So that is going to be a strong batting lineup. And when it comes to their bowling, they got two good spinners now, uh, Base and Leach. Leach has played here before, knowing exactly how to use these conditions. Moeen Ali will be a big miss for them. If not, he would have added that extra little bit in that middle order because he can bat too. But still, they're not short. I'm thinking Anderson will certainly play. If not, he wouldn't have travelled. They're not going to miss Archer. Because he hasn't actually played in these conditions, and it'll be difficult for them to fit in all their fast bowlers, considering the conditions they'll be up against. So Broad's there, Mark Wood's there. There'll be only a couple playing, and Sam Curran will be the player who will add a bit of value because he's a bowler who can just nibble that ball around, ideal for Galle to use that breeze. And he's also got the ability to bowl cutters and can bat at 7. So that's kind of the balance that they'll go with the 6 batsmen, Curran at 7, the 2 spinners, and 2 seamers, just to change things around for them.
Parviz, do you reckon they'll push Sam Curran to that number 5 position vacated by Ben Stokes and play Josh Butler and Ben Foakes, the wicketkeeper batsman who did really well last time England were here?
No, I think Sam Curran will bat at 7, and the late order would be the 2 spinners. Jimmy Anderson will play for sure. So I think it's either Broad or Mark Wood. So I reckon, especially in Galle, the low bounce, the reverse swing can be a huge factor with Mark Wood's pace. They might opt to go with Mark Wood. Broad will be very unlucky to miss out, but under the conditions, even last time, I remember they only played one quick when it comes to Anderson. Broad only played the last Test match when Anderson was rested, and you got Ben Stokes and Sam Curran playing those Test matches. So I reckon they will go with a similar way. Only thing is they got to play this time genuine 2 fast bowlers since Ben Stokes is missing. When it comes to batting lineup, I reckon Ben Foakes will play for sure because last time I remember he got 100 in Galle. He'll bat at number 6, Josh Butler at 5, and Root at 4, Bairstow at 3, and you got Jack Crawley and Dom Sibley batting, opening the batting for England. So I think it's a very strong team. 3 quicks, 2 spinners, and you got Joe Root in case they need to bowl a few overs when it comes to with the older ball.
Very interesting team selections by our experts. We'll hope we'll hear from more of you too in the coming few days, and hopefully we'll have a very good series for Sri Lanka against England. Thank you, Russell and Parviz, for joining with us today.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, Ross. Cheers.
So from ThePapare.com, we hope to bring more of the England series on Sri Lanka's number 1 sports sub. So stay tuned with us.